Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of F1 2020 Cup here on my channel. This weekend we have the Mexican Grand Prix. As I've said before in previous episodes, it's getting right down to crunch time in this championship. We are battling with Racing Point to try and attempt to stay ahead of them. In the Constructors, it's going to be very difficult. As I've said before, they have two drivers getting points. I have myself because my teammate is not very good, shall we say. Just currently looking at my engine where I'm not going to actually replace any parts this weekend because I don't fancy a grid place penalty as I am quite quick around Mexico, and I need points, quite frankly. So as you guys can see here, I am 9 points clear of Racing Point. I'm also 11 points clear of Albon in the Drivers' Championship. So my Drivers' Championship and Constructors are both very tight. I'm in P4 in the Drivers and P4 in Constructors. So consistent, but whether I can stay there or not, I don't know. It's going to be down to me having to get good results because Giotto is not going to get any points. Let's just be a little bit realistic here. He's not going to get any points at all. Now, in the bank, as you can see, I do have $8.6 million. As I've said before, I am saving up for Daniel Ricciardo as my driver, hoping that he does sign a contract with me. He might not sign a contract with me. I don't know. But I'm saving up. I'm going to save up about $12 million for my new driver. Hopefully I can get Daniel Ricciardo. Or just someone around his price point. I could go a bit cheaper. I could get Lando, or I could get Pierre Gasly, but I feel like Ricciardo would be a good fit for the team as he's very quick and he's actually consistent. This season he's been consistently beating Ocon, and I feel like I want that in my team. Now, looking at the powertrain, yes, I have a Mercedes engine, and yes, my car is the worst powertrain on the grid. That is quite depressing. But we only have 2 upgrades on the powertrain, which is why. Next season, I did say this in the last episode, I'm going to be focusing a lot on my powertrain to upgrade it as much as possible as that is needed. So yeah, upgrading the powertrain as much as possible so we can be quicker in a straight line and not as slow, because at the moment we are relatively slow in a straight line, which does not help us at all. Anyway, I'm going to go into qualifying and I will see you guys in a second. So, as you can see, we're here for my qualifying lap. This is just in Q1 at the moment. I believe I can comfortably get out of Q1 and Q2 with just very easily just putting in 1 lap, and I think that'll do me. But we're going to start the first lap here. Quite a long straight here at Mexico, so you gotta I have to focus on getting a good exit as my straight line speed, as I've said before, is awful. So I've got to get a good exit in order to get a good lap in. We're going to skip now to the end of my first lap, and we set a 13.7 and we go P1. Just an indication of the pace that I do have this weekend. It is quite good. We went back-to-back laps as well. We then go 2 tenths quicker and we do a 13.5. So, Q1 is done. As you can probably tell, I comfortably got out of Q1. Now onto my Q2 lap, and we end up setting a 13.9. So the track's a little bit slower. I actually set the exact same time as Verstappen. 13.973, that's quite impressive. So me and Max Verstappen set the exact same time. I'm going to go for back-to-back laps again because this track just gives you enough ERS for 2 laps on hot lap for the whole thing. Ride the curbs there early on the power. Open the DRS nice and early. We're now going to skip further on into the lap. To the end of the lap, we're now 5 tenths quicker. And we set a 13.5 again, and we go P1. Now in our Q3 lap, we set a 13.2. Ouch, that's quick. Right, we set a 13.2. I'm very, very happy with that. I was not expecting a 13.2. I really wasn't. But that's the end of qualifying. As you can see here, just in the loading screen now. And we do go pole by 3 tenths of a second to Lewis, then Vettel, then Max. Racing Point of Sergio Perez in P6. Lance Stroll didn't even get out of Q2. So things are looking good for the race. And let's see if we can beat those Racing Point cars. So, here in the race, as you guys can see, intermediate conditions. So, this is going to juggle things up quite a lot. Now, in these conditions, as you can see, it's going to dry up towards the end of the race. I'm not sure whether we're going to go onto slick tyres. I don't think we will be able to, because I think it's like the last couple of laps that will be dry. So, I don't think it'll be worth going on to dry tyres. Anyway, we're going to start the race here, starting on the intermediates. Same as everybody else, 5 red lights, and we're out. We're out on the way. Off the line, something like that. I'm not an F1 commentator. But Down into gear 2. We've got Hamilton trying to get on the inside of us. We're going to keep it in rich mix. Nice, easy through these corners. Feed the car through. As you can see, because the first lap, there's no racing line on the track at all. So hopefully in a few laps time, we'll be able to see a clear, drier line popping up so we can actually see what the racing line is. Rather than at the moment, the track is just loads of standing water everywhere. So it's not that great. There's already a yellow flag behind us. I wonder who has been tangled up there. If I can look back to the racing points, Sergio Perez, I believe, still in P6 and Stroll struggling quite far down. Hamilton's going to maybe do something here into the first corner, or maybe even before the first corner. And we are going to use a little flashback to see why Hamilton has just spun and hit the wall behind us. That is very interesting. I do wonder why Hamilton just spun, because I did make a defensive manoeuvre and I'm pretty sure he just didn't hit. I'm pretty sure he just aquaplaned behind us. That's what it looks like. He's just swerved and just completely taken out his front wing. Yeah, look at that. Right, we're going to ride on board with Lewis here. Let's just see if he definitely didn't touch us. Nope, he didn't touch at all. He's literally just aquaplaned. He's got no front wing. Huge mistake from Lewis. Bear in mind, he's 24 points behind Valtteri at this stage in the Drivers' Championships. And Valtteri started P9. So this could have been a great weekend for him. And he's just made a mistake. He didn't hit us at all. I'm not to blame. I didn't get a warning or anything. He didn't even touch us. So Hamilton's in the wall. And now, I'm in first. Vettel's in second. And Leclerc is in third. So we have 3 red cars in the top 3. We have the dark red car of the Morris Motorsports. Then we have the 2 Ferraris behind. Then we have the 2 Red Bulls behind those. So I'm going to come in and skip to lap 10 now. We're on my pit stop lap. I am going to be making a stop. I felt the intermediates were going off a little bit here. Compared to the full wets, you do have to kind of change the inters a little bit more. They don't last as long. If it was a full wet race, I probably wouldn't bother pitting at all, to be honest. But it'll be interesting to see what other drivers around us do, because where we could lose our race lead is if other drivers in front of us decide to go to the end on these tyres. I will be much quicker than them on a lap, but obviously they're going to be 20 seconds ahead of me. I don't know whether I can catch 20 seconds in 8 laps, but I was assuming that everyone was going to make a stop. I might be completely wrong. We're going to skip to lap 11. I set a 27 flat. Good lap from us there. Fastest lap of the race as well. Just checking the weather from Jeff, and apparently there's no rain coming. So the track is going to be drying out, but again there's a lot of standing water still on the track, so definitely not even time to consider for slicks. As tempted as I was to think if this works I could win the race, definitely, but I thought I'm running around in P4, effective P3. There is no point in me trying to push anything. Actually no, I'm not effective P3, I am in P4. Verstappen's first, Albon second, and Perez is third. Now, neither of those guys, if you guys are wondering why the hell they're ahead of me, it's because they have not made their pit stop yet. And Lance Stroll is actually behind us in the other Racing Point. So, we're actually in a Racing Point sandwich here, which doesn't help us with Racing Point's Championship rivalry at all, because we need to beat them this race weekend. I have the fastest lap of the race, but I need to at least come ahead of Perez, because I don't think these guys have made stops, and I don't think they're going to make stops. It's lap 12. It's quite late. They should have made their stops by now if they're going to. So, I think we've actually maybe have made a mistake here of actually coming into pit. We skipped to the end of lap 13 now. I've gone purple and greens. We're going to be setting another fastest lap. The gap to Perez is only 6.5 seconds. Which was Stroll 8.5 behind. So, we're gaining on... Well, we're increasing the gap to Stroll. And we're closing the gap into Perez. We're going to switch the tyres to use softs for our next stint. Just in case we need to go to dries. I still doubt it. Because again, you can see the spray coming off my tyres. Although it is not raining, the track is still very wet, and off the racing line there would be a lot of standing water, so there's no point in coming on and putting on the slick tyres. Under 6 seconds now behind Sergio. We've got 4 laps left. It's gonna be difficult to catch him. We're going to skip to lap 17 now, and we're only 1.4 behind. We've just set a 26.3 on that last lap. Now it is definitely time for slicks, but you know, there's 2 laps left. I'm not going to catch 20 seconds in 2 laps. Not going to happen. And I thought if I pit, I may never catch Perez again. So I thought, It's the closest I've been all race. I'm only 8/10 behind him. I need to go for it. I need to stay out. There's no point pitting. So, we're just going to have to overtake Perez. With Stroll back in P5. Well, I think we're going to be losing points this race weekend. 2 Racing Point just down to their strategy. As slow as these guys are, they're very slow because their tyres are so worn out. But they've got track position. And track position in Formula 1 is so important. It's more important than having fresh tyres on, in my opinion. Because for somebody to get past you, they've got to physically overtake you. And you can stop them from doing that as much as you can without doing a Nikita Mazepin or a Romain Grosjean and blocking them and putting them into the wall. Anyway, we're 5/10 behind Sergio. We should be able to get him onto that main straight. As I believe DRS has also been enabled now. That's how dry it is. DRS has been enabled. We're right behind Perez's gearbox now. We're 3/10 behind him. We're going to short shift a little bit to get a little more traction. Do not want to spin these tyres up. Get a good exit out this corner. Again, that pink Mercedes is much quicker in a straight line. We have DRS. We should be able to get the move done. DRS, rich mix, ERS also enabled. Overtake button is on. We're going to come past and we're going to, well, easily get past him even before the braking zone. So we are up to P3. I'm actually going to say that I'm disappointed that I'm P3. I wanted to win this race, which being the 3rd slowest car on the grid should never be saying that. But I've had pace in this car all weekend. I qualified on pole by 3/10 and by sheer strategy, the Red Bulls didn't make a pit stop. You know, Albon's 7.2 seconds ahead, and I'm fighting him in the Drivers' Championship. Get my words out. In the Drivers' Championship, I'm fighting him, so I'm going to lose more points here. I do get the fastest lap of the race, so I'm going to get a bonus point for that. So I'm going to come away with 16 points. Albon's going to get 18, so he's going to put the lead down by 2 points. And Perez and Stroll are in 4th and 5th. So a race weekend where Stroll started last because of grid penalties. Perez started behind me. They're going to come out winning on top on this race weekend. Just down to strategy. But again, that is my fault. I should have actually thought about the whole not stopping thing. And I may have been leading by quite a long way. But I decided to pit because I thought everybody else was going to. We're going to come through. We're purple in this last lap. We've already opened up a gap to 3 seconds to Perez by the end of the race in 1 lap. So we come across the line, we set another fastest lap, and become P3 for the Mexican Grand Prix. So P3 here in Mexico. Stroll gets driver of the day. I'm not surprised by that in the slightest. He did start last, and he did come 5th. So a good result from Lance Stroll. The Red Bull crew take P1 and P2. We come across the line in P3. So again, I am actually disappointed with that, which I wouldn't normally say this whole season. It's like I wouldn't say that. Oh, I came 3rd. Oh, damn it! It's something I should be very happy about. Agreed. But because the Constructors' Championship is so tight, I need to be able to beat that Racing Point team, because that could be the difference between $5 or $10 million, which could help us our facilities an awful lot. Anyway, we get 16 points from that race. Giotto came 20th after qualifying in P18, so that's not good. Albon is only 9 points behind us now in the drivers, so we still hold on to P4, and in the Constructors, Racing Point are only 5 points behind us. We're on 185, they're on 180. With Perez coming P5, Stroll came P6 in the end, so Vettel did jump him. But yeah, that's the Mexican Grand Prix. Again, we're just going to have to try and have a good race at Brazil and Abu Dhabi. They're tracks that I am quite confident at. They're not my best tracks, but they're tracks I do have a reasonable pace at. So I should be able to get into Q3 for both those, as long as I don't have grid penalties, which I feel like I may have to do for one of them. MG UK is getting worn. So yeah, stay tuned for the next upcoming videos. It's going to be tight. If I can beat that Racing Point team and even beat Albon, I think that would have been one of the best seasons we could have hoped for our first season in Formula 1 as a team. But thank you very much, guys, for watching. If you did enjoy, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new, turn notification bell on so you don't miss out any of these videos. And until next time, bye for now, and I'll see you soon.